Imagine being trapped in a dark, rat-infested tunnel beneath a battlefield, knowing that the enemy could be digging right towards you, ready to bury you alive. Or being a stretcher bearer, running through a hail of machine gun fire, pulling bodies, some alive, some not, off the field. World War I wasn't just brutal, it created some of the most horrifying jobs in history. Today we're diving into the absolute worst of them. Stick around, because job number 1 is something straight out of a nightmare. Before we jump in, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Mind Expander for more mind-blowing history content. During World War I, communication was a nightmare. Radios were unreliable, and phone lines were constantly cut. Enter trench runners, young soldiers who had to sprint between trenches, delivering messages. The catch? They were constantly exposed to enemy snipers, machine guns, and artillery fire. Running through no man's land meant dodging bullets, barbed wire, and corpses, knowing that a single misstep could be their last. Many trench runners didn't survive their missions, making it one of the most dangerous jobs of the war. Life in the trenches was already miserable, cold, wet, and disease-ridden, but rats made it even worse. These weren't your average household rodents, they were gigantic, disease-carrying beasts, feeding off dead bodies. Enter the rat catchers, soldiers assigned to hunt down and kill thousands of rats daily. Armed with clubs, knives, and sometimes even terriers, they fought an endless battle against these plague-spreading creatures. But here's the worst part. Some soldiers even reported rats gnawing on the faces of sleeping men. If that doesn't make your skin crawl, nothing will. Imagine running onto a battlefield with no weapon, just a stretcher, while bullets and artillery shells explode around you. That was the daily reality for stretcher bearers. These men had to retrieve wounded soldiers from the front lines, often under heavy fire. The catch? If you got shot, there was no one to save you. And if your patient was too injured to move, you had to make an impossible choice: leave them behind, or die trying to carry them. Many stretcher bearers died just trying to do their job. One of the most terrifying jobs was being a tunneler, digging underground passageways beneath enemy trenches to plant explosives. It was claustrophobic, silent, and terrifying. The worst part? You never knew if the enemy was digging towards you. If they broke into your tunnel, it became a brutal underground deathmatch, fighting with pickaxes, knives, and fists in the pitch black. Even if they didn't find you, cave-ins, gas poisoning, and suffocation were constant threats. Many tunnelers never saw daylight again. Chemical warfare was one of World War I's most horrifying aspects, and someone had to clean up after the attacks. The gas attack cleanup crews had to retrieve bodies from gas-filled trenches, often with no proper protection. Mustard gas didn't just kill, it burned skin, blinded soldiers, and destroyed their lungs. Many of these workers suffered slow, agonizing deaths, and those who survived were left with lifelong scars. This wasn't just a job, it was a death sentence. World War I wasn't just about battles, it was about survival. These men endured some of the most horrifying conditions imaginable, sacrificing everything. If you found this video fascinating, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Mind Expander for more incredible history content. Let us know in the comments, which of these jobs do you think was the absolute worst?